first, I want to acknowledge my gratitude for my family, my office team, Carrie and new member McGuinness-Reeve, our staff here in Regina, and especially those who are moving on, to Catherine Norton and Nathaniel Cole. I want to acknowledge my caucus colleagues for their unwavering support and dedication. And last but not least, my constituents and constituency executive for their ongoing commitment throughout the year. I also want to extend my condolences to the family of Derek Meyers for their loss. Truthfully, I never had the opportunity to get to know Derek as a member in this House, but I was deeply touched yesterday listening to stories of his quiet and patient leadership and advocacy for mental health support following the loss of his daughter by suicide. Listening to those stories offered each of us time for pause and reflection on why we entered politics. This budget debate is a reflection of that. Government budgets reflect our priorities and our efforts to make life better for the people of this province. For me, our children and their future has been my guiding star. Ensuring that our children are nurtured to experience their full potential and have a happy life. But sadly, I have to say that this is a budget that is bankrupting our children's future, leaving them hopeless, anxious about their futures, and leaving this province in droves. This is a province that fails to deliver hope because it falls short in so many ways. From an inadequate funding in education that increasingly fails children in reaching their full potential, as funding per student has bottomed out. Increasingly, complex needs in the classroom are going unmet as teachers struggle under the weight of larger class sizes and inadequate supports. This is a budget that does not offer hope to Saskatchewan families. This budget offers no new measures to address the cost of living crisis, failing to ensure that our children experience the security of a stable home environment with enough food to eat, affordable utilities, and parents free from the stress of rising rents and mortgage foreclosures. This is a budget that does not offer hope to Saskatchewan families. The budget displays an outright refusal by this government to fund and support harm reduction measures to help those suffering from mental health and addictions. It is an utter moral failure of this government that is blinded by an ideology and partisan politics that is having devastating consequences. In the past 3 years, more than 1,200 Saskatchewan people have lost their lives to this devastating crisis. Once again, this is a budget that does not offer hope to Saskatchewan families. This budget represents a missed opportunity to address the crisis in health care by presenting a status quo budget that barely keeps up with inflation while failing to deliver any new measures to fix the fee-for-service model of physician care or meet the crisis in emergent or primary care head-on. Rather, the pleas of doctors, nurses, and other health care professionals have gone unheard, as this government bumbles their way through this crisis with a privatization agenda that is only further destabilizing our health care system. Mr. Speaker, this is a budget that does not offer hope to Saskatchewan families. I want to now turn my attention to an issue that is very near and dear to my heart, and what has been called the defining issue of our time, an issue that cuts deep into the lives and livelihoods of every family in this province. I'm talking, Mr. Speaker, about the climate crisis, an issue that should transcend petty political partisanship, but that has received scant mention or attention in this year's budget. It is sadly disappointing once again that this budget has offered not one thin dime to help families and businesses reduce their greenhouse gas emissions. There is no plan articulated in this budget to offer meaningful incentives to homeowners or businesses for energy retrofits, energy efficiency, or renewable power. Not only that, but at the same time, we have a government sitting on massive revenues collected from carbon pricing. So what is the plan? The Premier is on record last year stating that he doesn't care about our worst in the nation greenhouse gas emissions record. He is on the public record denying any moral obligation to do anything material about it, while fabricating a greenwashing campaign lacking any credibility. This is a moral failure on an epic scale, leaving children genuinely worried about their futures in a world ravaged by rising temperatures and extreme weather. This is a budget that does not offer hope to Saskatchewan families. Now, I know the members opposite will accuse me of a lack of optimism and an inability to accentuate the positive, but Mr. Speaker, I don't subscribe to toxic positivity. I believe in facing our challenges head-on with courage, hope, and determination. We have much to be proud of in this province. We have a history of rising to the challenge, of pulling together in tough times, and I want to be optimistic about our future. But, Mr. Speaker, that means pulling together all in the same direction. And when you leave people behind and ignore their limitations, well, I'm sorry, but that's not growth that works for everyone. And with that, I will not be supporting the motion to approve the budget, but will be supporting the motion brought forward by the member for Regina Rosemont because it fails to provide cost of living relief for families, fails to provide needed investments in health care and education, nor address the climate emergency.